Hello friends, we are in the 5th episode of our 4 film series. I prepared a watch list of the productions I carefully selected. I hope you like it too. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. Have a nice watch. The Sisters Brothers. This film tells the story of two assassins, set in 1850s Oregon. Two brothers named Eli and Charlie Sisters are assigned to kill Herman Kermit, a gold digger. But this job will be much more difficult than the brothers think. There are others who are after Kermit. Moreover, the disagreements between the siblings will become inextricable. Various people and events they encounter along the way will force them to confront both their inner world and the outside world. One of the most striking features of the film is its characters. Sisters Eli and Charlie are two very different siblings. While Eli is a cold-blooded and professional assassin, Charlie is a more emotional and humane character. The way these two brothers travel together and get to know each other constitutes an important part of the film. The film tells a gripping story that is as good as the classics of Western cinema. The characters show how blurry the line between good and evil can be. The atmosphere, characters and story of the movie will draw you in and leave you impressed long after the movie is over. The Sisters Brothers is a must-watch movie for Western cinema lovers. Don't miss this movie. The Lunchbox. This 2013 film tells the story of the extraordinary love of two lonely people living in Mumbai, which develops through lunches that accidentally reach each other. Isla is a middle-class housewife and talented cook. Her husband works out of town and sees her very little. To show her love for her husband, Isla prepares and packs delicious meals for him every day. One day, he accidentally sends a lunchbox to Sajan, a banker. Sajan is a man waiting for his retirement days. Isla's cooking impresses him greatly and he begins to reciprocate. As Isla and Sheikh get to know each other, their bond grows stronger. The film tells an emotional story about love, loneliness and human relationships. However, this love is much different from a traditional love story. The film draws attention to the fast and crowded life of Mumbai, the impressive organization of the dabawalas, the lunch delivery system, and the various spices in Indian cuisine. The characters in the film share the difficulties, hopes, disappointments and desires they encounter at the turning points of their lives through letters they write to each other. In this way, they have the opportunity to get to know themselves and each other better. This production is not just a food movie, but also a life movie. One of the most sincere, real-life movies I've watched recently. As someone who watches many vlogs and documentaries about India, I felt like I got to know the real India and its people through this movie. I highly recommend it to those who want to watch an unforgettable warm movie. The Endless Trench. It is a 2019 Spanish-French historical drama film. It tells the story of a Republican fugitive who was forced to live as a mole under the Franco regime after the Spanish Civil War, hiding in a pit under his house for more than 30 years. It deals with a dark period of Spanish history through an individual story. The film begins after the Spanish Civil War, which started in 1936, and with the Franco regime coming to power. The crackdown on Republican dissidents began. Eugenio was a partisan who fought on the Republican side in the Spanish Civil War. At the end of the war, with Franco's victory, life becomes dangerous for those who oppose the regime in the country. Eugenio, with the help of his wife Rosa, continues to oppose the regime, hiding in the basement of their house. Eugenio lives in fear of being caught every day. Rosa does her best to protect her husband and children. The film is inspired by real events about how fascism affects lives and what strange and difficult situations it puts people in. The experiences of Eugenio and his wife successfully reflect the oppressive and frightening atmosphere of fascism. It once again explains the ugliness of politics and war and the resilience of the human spirit. The film is an old-school domestic melodrama, done in a moving and emotionally satisfying way. The Great Gatsby. It is adapted from F. Scott Fitzgerald's novel of the same name, which was published in 1925 and became a classic of American literature. The film is set in 1920s New York and tells the tragic story of Jay Gatsby, a rich and mysterious socialite who becomes obsessed with the idea of winning back his ex-lover Daisy Buchanan, who is married to another man. Gatsby has bought a luxurious mansion and attracts the attention of high society with the lavish parties he organizes every weekend. One day, Gatsby's neighbor, Nick Carraway, is invited to one of Gatsby's parties. Nick meets Gatsby and begins to learn about his past. Gatsby is in love with a woman named Daisy Buchanan. Daisy is Nick's cousin and is married to a rich man. Gatsby is determined to do anything to win Daisy back. He asks Nick for help to reach Daisy. Nick brings Gatsby and Daisy together. Gatsby and Daisy rediscover their love for each other. However, will the love between them end because of Daisy's marriage and Gatsby's past? The Great Gatsby is a successful adaptation of a classic American novel. The film is very colorful with its visuals and music and takes us to another world. He criticizes the American dream and the empty promise of social mobility, as well as the excesses and moral decadence of the lovely 20s period. In this sense, The Great Gatsby is a profoundly American novel that captures the spirit of a specific historical moment while also addressing universal themes and concerns. Dear Child, it is a 2023 psychological thriller series adapted from Romy Hausman's novel of the same name. This series, published on Netflix under the name Lieb's Kind, tells the story of Lena, who was kidnapped, abused and forced to live with her 2 children in a high-security house 13 years ago. However, when Lena and her children are released into the outside world as a result of an accident, the family's secrets slowly begin to emerge. The series takes place in 2 different time periods. In the first period, an unidentified woman lives with her 2 children in a deserted cabin in the forest. The woman has been kidnapped and held in captivity by a family man who thinks he is protecting the children from the dangers of the outside world. In the second time period, detectives investigate the case of a girl who disappeared 13 years ago. The series is told from the perspectives of 3 main characters, Lena, Hannah and Jonathan. Lena is trying to escape the cruelty of the man who kidnapped her and her children and whom she calls Papa. Hannah tries to find out who her real mother is and why she left her. Jonathan comes to terms with his father's death and tries to adapt to a new life. This 6-episode miniseries, in which tension and mystery are successfully blended and the inner worlds of the characters and the traumas they experience are impressively explained, is an interesting option, especially for those who love the psychological thriller genre.